Hello and welcome to another episode of The Wave, the wonderful Alberni Valley experience. Yes, the wonderful Alberni Valley experience continues in spite of the COVID-19 crisis because we're doing our best, we're pulling together as a community, and I must say we are doing quite well in doing our part to curb or to flatten the curve rather. With me today is my co-host, Carol Ann. Oh, I'm Don TECSON, by the way. I forgot to say my name. And I'm alone, home alone. I swear to God, I'm alone. I'm going to grab a glass of wine after this. Anyway, do you have wine yet, Carol Ann?
Nope, no wine.
I promised you I'll get you wine before the weekends. Anyway, I'm turning it over to Carol Ann, my co-host, who will introduce our guest.
Hi, so Carol Ann here, and our special guest today is Bill Collette, and he is the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. So I'm going to let Bill just give us a quick overview of what the Chamber is, because I think a lot of people don't really know. So Bill, I'll let you take it from here.
Okay,
Great.
Thank you for being in the show, by the way.
Well, thanks very much for inviting me, and thanks Dawn and Carol Ann. Chamber of Commerce is, we are a little bit hard to understand. A lot of people wonder what we are, who we are, and I think a lot of people in the city kind of blur us with the visitor center. They think that's what we do, that we run the visitor center, which is correct, we do, but the visitor center is under a fee for service with the city of Port Alberni. Essentially, the city's our biggest client, and we run the visitor center for the city of Port Alberni. But the Chamber of Commerce is much bigger than that. And we're a membership-driven organization. In Port Alberni, we have about 320 members right now, which is pretty good, really, in terms of how most chambers operate. We're probably in the 40 to 50% of local businesses directly support us, and many others indirectly support us. Like they may not be a member, but they participate in other programs with us. So we have a really good local experience here in Port Alberni. Our main role, the Chamber's main role, is to advocate for businesses. That's really what chambers were first designed to do. And so hence the reason why businesses sign up to become a member. You know, our voice can be fairly strong. If you think about it, if we're speaking to the city on a matter, we're speaking on behalf of the business community. And so that really works. When the Canadian Chamber speaks to the Prime Minister, he's speaking, the representative, Perrin Beatty, former Liberal cabinet minister, he's the CEO of the Canadian Chamber. Well, he's speaking on behalf of 200,000 businesses.
I see.
So the government of Canada listens very, very carefully to the Chamber of Commerce. They have to, you know, and same in BC. Our BC Chamber is representing tens of thousands of businesses. You know, so when the CEO there, Val Litwin, is speaking, you know, the Premier listens. And so at all three levels of chambers there, you know, we have a lot of value and a lot of strength, and especially right now with COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
so
yeah, go ahead, Carolyn.
what is the Chamber doing right now to help, like, as a business owner? Of course, I already know, but like, we can go to you. We have questions. We're trying to, you know, weed our way through all of this COVID-19 stuff. You're there for us. And what can you do?
We are, Carol, and you know, I'm a former business owner myself, and I really understand what our local business community is going through. It's heart-wrenching. It's absolutely heart-wrenching. I mean, Carol's on the line here. You know, my heart goes out to everybody because, you know, I'm very fortunate. I know many of our business owners. I know them personally, and I have great respect for them. And so it motivates me even further to help the business community out. And so really what we've done, or what I've done in the last 8 weeks now, is I've dived in and made myself aware of the various programs are available by the 2 levels of government in particular. And we've been on, I'm on calls 2 or 3 times a week now, and more frequently when it first started, with my chamber colleagues, both federally and provincially, and we've advocated for a lot of the changes. Like, for example, the 10% wage relief that first came out. I mean, we were happy that government did something, but we were unhappy because it wasn't good enough. It was nowhere near good enough.
Yeah,
And,
it wasn't enough.
pardon me?
It wasn't enough. It was 10%. So as it stands right now, with the present situation, with businesses trying to reopen and some businesses still not reopening, what are the programs available as of now? So the subsidy, the rental, and could you like present a little package what's available for business owners?
Well, the wage subsidy one is critical, and it's now at 75%, assuming they meet the sales criteria, which most do. And if they don't, chances are they're holding their own. They're doing okay. There is a few businesses that are operating just fine right now, but those that aren't absolutely needed that wage relief. And then they can also access the emergency loan program, which is up to $40,000. That's a valuable program, and the government keeps working on this. They keep putting additional resources and programs out there for people to so our role is just to help government figure out what's best, communicate to government on behalf of businesses, and say, okay, this is a good start, but it's nowhere near good enough. And that's really what we've done. And then the other thing that we're doing locally here, or that I'm really focused on, is keeping the business community updated. I've put out 20 newsletters in the past 8 weeks. A lot of work to do those, and because I want to make sure that our business community are informed and know where to look for help and that sort of thing. So that's a big role as well, and I think we've taken the primary lead role locally in that. And I can tell by the statistics we get very, very good access to our newsletters.
So in the case of Port Alberni, what is your assessment of the business community here in Port Alberni?
Pre-COVID or current COVID?
Current COVID, like right now, what's the situation like for business owners here in Port Alberni?
Well, it's a challenge just like everywhere else. Let's face it. I mean, we've got Carol on the line here, and her business is nowhere near what she envisioned when she just purchased it.
No, I'm down well over. I made maybe a quarter of where I was every day, and I'm by myself. But I did apply for the 75% wage subsidy.
Yeah.
If that comes in, I'm fortunate that I will be able to afford to bring back a couple staff members and put in a second window, which might draw more people to come. I'm hoping. But
so, the business community, we did a survey early on, right when this started, and we tackled it by phone. We really, I wanted us to do it by phone versus getting someone to tick a box here and there. Online survey. So we phoned people, and we actually reached 298 business owners in town, representing over 300 businesses, because some have a multitude of businesses, such as Caroline. And during those calls in the first few days, it was painful. There was many tears. It was gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching. But that's 8 weeks ago, 7-8 weeks ago. And then we start to see the resiliency come out. And again, Carol Ann's an example of that.
oh yeah, 8 weeks ago I was in my pajamas crying in my living room. Well, now I'm working
That's
7 days.
not the Caroline I know.
I know.
It was so unexpected and so sudden and so heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, that it was just impossible to believe. It's a movie. We were living a movie. And, but since then, we're seeing every day, we're seeing another businesses planning to reopen, and you know, they've got a new plan in place. And so what's becoming evident is that our business community is not prepared to roll it up and walk away.
Bravo.
They're not prepared to do it. And I dare say that Port Alberni, we may be in a better position than a lot of communities, because we actually have the experience of going through challenging times in our lives. So the business owner here, yeah, this was a big one. This was one that was unexpected, but they dealt with unexpected and challenging times before. And so it's almost like another day, you know?
Well, and I think in Port Alberni too, like, I don't know about other cities, but all of us small businesses tend to work together. Like, I had some tourists come to my window today looking for donuts. Well, right away, and not that I wanted tourists here, but today anyway, but I sent them to the donut shop. I'm like, the best donuts ever you'll ever have down at the Harbor Key. And I told
Exactly.
them to support each other. And you have to do that.
Well, and we do it. I mean, we have that business group Facebook page, and I see it all the time where our business owners are working with one another and sharing leads and sharing ideas. And so we're all, the business community here is one big family. And really, that's a lot of the strength that we have that other communities may not have. We have it in spades here. So, you know, are we going to have some failures? Probably. I mean, we'd be fools to say we won't. But we're going to rebound, I suspect, better than many communities. And really, it's because of the people that operate these businesses. So.
And the community as a whole, I mean, like Chris was sharing the other day, that there was one lady who was about to buy something online, and it just dawned on her that, oh, I can get that from Flandangles. So she got offline and went to Flandangles and got what she wanted. You know, the community is ready to support the local businesses that are here, that have been here. And like you said, Bill, yeah.
Yeah, the irony to this issue is that the public is going to be woken up more and more and more to the importance of our local business community. You know, always struggled with, you know, people that don't shop local, right? And it's been a challenge, and we're not the only place with that challenge. Everywhere has that challenge. Well, you could live in Memphis, Tennessee, and they're going to talk about shopping local. But here in Port Alberni, you know, that's been one of our focuses here as a chamber, is to encourage the population to support local business. Well, this COVID crisis is making people realize just how valuable our business community is. And so I'm optimistic that once we start to rebound from this, we'll see more local activity. Our populace will realize just how important it is to support our local businesses. So I have my fingers crossed that's one of the spin-off benefits, if there is any, but that's one of them.
Yeah. Well, even I realized that, like, I've made a point of buying everything from small businesses. Yeah. Like I was saying before on another episode, I needed coffee filters. Well, normally I would just go to Walmart or wherever, but I bought them at Flandangles. Yeah. It's local, it's small business, and you have to think about that when you're shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just have to cross the street.
I know. I sent John
all across town. You just have to cross the street.
I video chatted Chris in the store and got her to look around with her camera, and I said, I'll take that, and pick out a Mother's Day card. Like, how else can I and I sent John over to pay for it. Their little stores are amazing with helping.
Well, and what we're seeing is the business owners in town here, and there are many that, you know, they've opened up an online store. Some of them already had it, others have expanded it, and others yet have developed new ones. And in many cases, it's the business owner that's actually delivering the product to their client. They're, you know, these business owners are rolling up their sleeves. And again, I applaud Carol Ann. I asked Carol Ann to get up early in the morning a week ago so that we could do something special for our board. And her immediate answer was just like any good business owner was, yes, sure, I'll do that. And
I'll bake muffins at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
But I did it.
It just goes to prove what our business owners will do to make it work and to rebound from this. And therein lies the difference that we have in Port Alberni.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you said, Bill, you're the CEO, and who else is involved in the chamber? So Carol Ann's vice president, I believe.
So we have I work for a board of directors. We're basically a not-for-profit organization. So as in any not-for-profit, you typically will have the paid employee who reports to the board of directors. So that's what I do. I report to a board of 13 people. Carol Ann's our vice president, but we have 12 others on the board. So I'm responsible for that to them and to carry out the chamber mandate. And internally here, we have a couple of employees, and so they obviously report to me. And so, but really, I look at my job as I report to everybody in the community. Really, you know,
Now,
the whole business owner, like our membership, they pay us. And they have a right to expect something from us.
Mm-hmm.
do you foresee the tourist center opening up? Like, what's your plan there with that?
Well, we're controlled by, you know, we have a fee for service with the city. So the city will obviously play a role in when we reopen. Destination BC will play a role in it. The province, you know, we're seeing now that parks and stuff are opening on the 15th or thereabouts, and campgrounds on the 1st. I suspect, and again, don't quote me on it, but I suspect that we'll be somewhere in that range, June 1st, or I would imagine, but who knows, right? And then what's our clientele going to look like? Because we see about 25,000 people a year through the doors here. We're not going to see anywhere near that this year. And those we do see will probably be local, like Parksville, Qualicum, Courtenay, Victoria.
I think it's kind of nice, though. We get a chance to explore our own island. You know, how many times not do that?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I am curious, Caroline. You said you encountered tourists today or yesterday?
Today.
Were they local tourists or like from out of the country tourists?
I didn't ask them, but I said, "Are you from here?" Because they were looking. No, we're just on holiday, and I thought, "Oh, okay, that was weird." But
okay,
you know, I don't know.
Like we already are aware, BC is slowly opening up. So what does that mean for Port Alberni? Like, what's closed and what's open? We can go to your website and find out.
Yeah, we have a link on our website. When you go to our site, albernichamber.ca, you'll see a graphic there that says what's open, or I can't remember exactly what it says. We just put the new graphic on yesterday. You click on the graphic, and it'll bring you to an Airtable file. Airtable is like a spreadsheet almost. And we have about 235 local businesses on that. And we try and maintain it as we find out about what's going on with X business. So like I say, 235 are on there right now. And,
I see.
And we've got their Facebook page on there and their website. And you know, are they open for business, like physically open, or are they temporarily closed, or are they open for takeout and delivery? and that, so we've got a bunch of different classifications, and so it's quite detailed. And so yeah, take a look at it. You'll see what's there, and but we're trying to update it almost daily.
So what is your prediction as far as this opening up is concerned of when Port Alberni like starts to open up a little bit?
My prediction in which way?
Like what's going to happen? Are parks going to be open? Are people going to are children going back to school? Are restaurants are going to go from takeout into dining again? Stuff like that.
Boy, I don't really know. The government is control of that. They've got their plan in place, and they've got a full document online on it, and basically 4 steps is what they're talking about. The restaurants are, it's going to be a different look out there for sure. We know that. I think, step 1 is going to be the parks and, the areas where it's going to be easier to physical distance. Those will be the first areas open. But, they're talking about opening hairdressers fairly quickly. And
I already have an appointment with my hairdresser on, I think, next Tuesday, but I have to go there with gloves and a mask.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
And she already demanded that I wash my hands before, during, and after, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a different a different look, and that's just the way it's going to be for a while, I guess. And
well, and I think it depends on what people can afford to do in their business. Because I know myself, like I just ordered 1 more piece of plexiglass yesterday to put in my second door, so I can have 2 takeout windows, because I don't plan on opening up to the public anytime soon. It was really expensive. Yeah. Not to mention, I still have to build the whole door case, right? So if the restaurant or a business that had to put in a whole bunch of plexiglass, and I was a small business, that's going to take time. It's not cheap.
Yeah, and this is where it's difficult on the business, because they've not only taken a hit having to close, now they're going to have to invest in WorkSafe BC required programs in order to reopen, and there's a cost to that. So that's a worrisome thing that that we in our network are looking at to, again, in the advocacy way, is that, okay, we've really hit these businesses hard, and now we're going to keep hitting them. And there's only so much money in the pool for these businesses to carry on, right? And then, of course, they're going to be challenged on the employee side of things, because they may be able to reopen, but will the employees all come back? There's some concerns there as well. So, it's we're not out of the woods yet.
No,
yeah, definitely not.
I'll be lucky to bring 2 staff back, and that I had 8.
Yeah.
So I know I will eventually, but it's
but
hard.
I agree with what Bill said. We're not out of the woods yet, but we're slowly coming out. But we shouldn't be rushed into it. Otherwise, we'll just find ourselves back to where we began in the first place. So we must approach the reopening very cautiously and very diligently.
Yeah, we have to, and I mean, we're obligated to follow the guidelines, and as we should. And our concern is just to make sure that we find ways to help the business community as much as possible, so that more survive. Because every business that fails, we have to be concerned about that from many aspects. We don't want to see any fail, but
yes.
The sad
well, I have heard back in Vancouver there are businesses that are not going to be reopening because they will not be able to make it through the whole crisis. So far in Port Alberni, as you are optimistic about this, nobody has thrown in the towel yet, right? From any of your members? Yeah,
not really. Not that I'm aware of. A couple of potentials, but I haven't really heard too much specific. But you're right. The Lower Mainland and the bigger cities, they have a much bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
high rent costs. You know, these places need to survive based on volumes of people, and they won't be able to accommodate that because of the new rules. So the restaurant world in the Lower Mainland and bigger cities, I mean, we're going to be hurting here badly, but they're going to be hurting worse.
Yes, because, well, the old saying goes, like, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So thankfully, we're not that big. So our situation is more manageable in a sense.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
So in closing, I would like to give you the opportunity to just sort of like give a word of encouragement to all our viewers to hold on, keep up the hope, and whatever you want to encourage our viewers with, please.
You know, I would just encourage our viewers to just look around you. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Look around and realize how lucky we are to have the space that we have. We can go on our trails, and I was talking to someone today who's out in the trail for 2 hours and saw one person. And so we're very, very fortunate that we can adhere to these physical distance rules rather easily.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you know, should applaud so many people through this. You know, you look at the grocery stores, man, oh man, those folks have worked so hard, and just nothing short of impressive. And even you know, the hardware stores, and I know you work at one, Don, in Canadian Tire, and you know, these.
Well, they never closed, but they were able to keep up with the demand. I salute them.
Yeah, no, there, you know, all these organizations that are working really, really hard to do all the right stuff. I just take my hat off to them, you know, just like that, right? And so, you know, I think we're fortunate that we live in a great community, and I can tell you that our local politicians are really supportive, and everybody wants to do the right stuff, the right thing. So, you know, I think we're in good hands, as good as can be, based on the attitude of the people in power.
Yeah, even I was just speaking with Captain Michael Ramsey of the Salvation Army, and he is just so overwhelmed with the response and the care and the compassion he has found here in Port Alberni, and they are doing a marvelous job.
Well, Michael is he's exceptional,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely exceptional, and he has really stepped up. Not that he never had before, but he just has taken this and really done a great job. I mean, you know, if you score a man out of one out of 10, the guy gets 100.
Exactly.
No, he's just really, really knocked it out of the park, and we're very fortunate to have people like that. He's not,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so yeah, we're quite fortunate.
And if anybody watching, Bill, has any questions about how to apply to any of these things, or just needs some questions answered, can they reach out to you at the chamber?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. That's, you know, I've got a lot of stuff on our website as well, like on that, where you find that Airtable one, the graphic beside it brings people to a history of our newsletters. And within there, you'll see all the different links and educational pieces. And so it's all kind of in one page where people can read through it. And if they want information on the wage subsidy or the emergency benefit program or whatever, Community Futures are offering loans, and there's just countless opportunities there for people to look at.
Is there a number they can call?
Well, they can reach me at the best way to reach me is through my email, bill@albernichamber.ca.
Okay.
That's the easiest way. I'm at my office a lot. I'm all by my lonesome here.
Your office is the visitor center?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, but it's easy to reach me through email, Facebook even, and the visitor center phone number, chamber phone number. I'm, like I say, I'm here most days. So, and I'm answering the phone and doing what I can do.
Okay, thank you so much for taking the time. We are out of time. And I really thank you so much. You have delivered such a wonderful message, and a message of hope and encouragement for all of us here in Port Alberni. Thank you so much for the job you're doing, and thank you to everybody who's involved. This is indeed, in spite of a crisis, a still ongoing, continuing, wonderful Alberni Valley experience. We'll catch you next time on The Wave.